All right. Hello, everyone. It is Anita. If you didn't listen to our most recent episode about matrescence, this might be news to you, but I am pregnant and I am having a baby more or less any day now. I'm 38 weeks. I'm very excited about this new chapter and to return to the show on the other side with new ideas and I'm sure a new perspective. But in the meantime, I wanted to share an update about what you're going to be hearing from Embodied over the next few months. So there will be a new episode in your feeds every single week. You'll hear a combination of new shows I recorded before leave, some of our favorite past episodes, and then lots of content from some incredible guest hosts, including my guest today, Carvell Wallace. You're going to be hearing a lot from Carvell this fall, so I wanted to take a moment to introduce him to y'all in case you're unfamiliar with his work. Carvell is a New York Times bestselling author and memoirist, also well known in the world of podcasting. He hosted the 10-part series Finding Fred about Fred Rogers, which you must listen to if you haven't yet, and was the co-host of the Slate podcast, How To. Carvell, welcome to Embodied, and thank you in advance for bringing your talents to our show over the next couple of months.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited for this.
So we are going to keep this short and sweet. I'm going to ask you a few questions and then do a short rapid fire round if you are up for it.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So you know that we're a show that talks a lot about identity. I bring a lot of my own personal experiences and reflections into the shows that I host, and we're inviting you to do the same this fall. I'm curious about kind of in this season of your life, what are some of the aspects of your own identity that you're most interested in exploring that feel really at the forefront of your mind that you may bring into some of the conversations you host this fall?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think, I think being a Black person, that's probably like that's the thing I've been the longest, more than anything else. I have the most experience with that. Being an older person, I'm 51, turning 52, which is considered, I guess, starting to, I'm not old, but I'm getting to the point where like a lot of adults are younger than me, so that's a new identity that I'm, taking on and learning about and thinking about. And then, my gender journey has been, interesting and complicated. I identify as gender queer, gender fluid, and so that's something that has been, on my mind really all my life. But for the past maybe 10 or so years, I've kind of thought more deeply about it.
Okay. So lots of things at the forefront that listeners will hear you talking about. Your writing and podcasting work has covered lots of topics about identity, but also like music, sports, fatherhood. Are there any threads that you feel like connect your interests, like kind of core things that you look for when you get excited about doing work or things that motivate you?
Yeah. I mean, I always think and talk and write about love. Mostly I don't actually think and talk and write a lot about romantic love. I think and write and talk about spiritual love, political love, love of the earth, love of self. And I tend to view things through that lens. That's what my memoir, Another Word for Love, is all about. And I tend to think of love as kind of like a unifying, I don't know, kind of like epistemology through which I like process everything. So when people are facing, a late in life transition or something, one of the questions I'm always thinking about is how does one practice love through this? How does one receive love? How does one give love? In the Fred Rogers podcast, we started with the question of, Fred Rogers talked about like liking people just the way you are and had this kind of, kind of like radical spiritual acceptance. And one of the questions that we brought to that was that, how do we practice that kind of love for ourselves and for one another in the midst of like systemic oppressions? What does that kind of love mean at a time, of harm, of what does that mean in genocide? What does that mean in oppression? Like, what does that mean in misogyny? Like, how do we square those things? So I think that's always what I'm investigating is like how I believe that like love is one of the most spiritually important things that we get to practice. And so the question of how is the thing that I'm always at.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you want listeners to feel when they listen to you conduct an interview? Is there a vibe, an energy, some kind of sensation that you're going for?
I want listeners to feel like that life is a wonderful gift that deserves to be respected and cared for and understood. And part of the way that we learn to like love and care for things is by paying attention to them. And so an interview is a kind of like format for paying attention, right? Like we ask a person a question and then we listen to their story and we hear their pauses and their hems and haws and the things they're excited about and the things they're unsure about. And it helps us understand more about ourselves as human beings and what we're struggling with. So I think there's a kind of reverence that I like the word reverence always comes to mind when I think about one way of showing love is having a certain reverence for like, I'm in the presence of something important. Let me quiet down a little bit what's happening inside me so I can hear it. And then there's also that reverence we turn on ourselves. Like my thoughts and feelings and fears and emotions are something important. Let me quiet down and hear them, not necessarily run with them, but just hear them so that I can understand what's going on for myself and for other people.
Beautiful. Okay, rapid fire. Who or what gave you your best sex education?
Oh man. Whoa. I did not expect that question.
Sharp turn.
Whoa. Yikes. No, I don't know that it was one person. I think it's been a long journey of learning from all kinds of people and situations and places and readings and experiences. Every person that I've been with in any kind of way has taught me something about it, you know? So I think sex is so complex and, potentially beautiful, but also like scary and painful and, traumatizing for so many of us. And so I think that the learning process is slow. Like we learn about it in the slow educational variety over time.
What is the taboo that you are most committed to breaking?
Most committed to breaking. I mean, the taboo around being like caring for people. Like that's probably the biggest one. Like I just feel like we're kind of in a place where everyone's just like, oh, you care about people? That's lame. It's like, and I'm just like, let's not make that, let's not throw that out so quickly. And that includes people that I, don't like. And, like, I mean, it's like, it's a practice, but yeah, I think there's just sort of a taboo on like, if you're too nice, the world's going to destroy you. And I'm like, well, it wouldn't if more people were nice. So maybe let's do that.
Is that like something you came to post Fred Rogers, or do you feel like that's been like your orientation before?
I think that's been my orientation for a long time. Definitely the Fred Rogers Project helped me crystallize some specific things around that because he was a genius of like what it means to be nice in a world that isn't that nice, and so I think I definitely learned a lot like by spending so much time with him and his legacy and his, I interviewed his pastor at some point. I mean, we really went deep on the Fred Rogers universe. So I think I learned a lot about how to do that from him.
Okay. And last question. What are 3 things that consistently bring more pleasure to your life?
Nature, friends, and cooking. Pretty straightforward. Nothing, nothing dramatic.
What's your favorite thing
sex is the obvious answer, but I feel like it's a little on the nose.
It can be the 3.5, the 3.5. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for letting us get to know you a little bit. I'm very excited to hear what you get up to this fall. And anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, I'm so excited for this, and I love this show, and I'm grateful that you're that you're giving me an opportunity, and I'm so excited for you. I mean, it's like my children are 23 and 20, and they're both actually home right now, and so I'm just like, there's so much reflecting on how much time has passed since they were little tiny babies in arms. So it's just such a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, enjoy listening to Carvell this fall, and I will be back with you on the other side of this experience. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.